Welcome to my channel. I hope you guys like this video. Tonight we're going to be making stuffed clams, also known as Stuffies in southern New England or Rhode Island. So stay tuned and please like and subscribe to my channel. Alright, excited to be making stuffed clams today, and if you're local to Rhode Island, you'll know these as Stuffies. I'm going to be working with about 3 pounds of fresh clams here. These are Cherrystone clams. I need a pot to steam them in, and I have some fresh thyme over here. I have garlic, celery, 1 red bell pepper, and a yellow onion. Be using the Dutch oven for the stuffing. And I have some chives. I also have some dry thyme. If you don't have fresh, you can use that alternatively. I have some parsley. I have some white wine for steaming with the clams. I have some butter. I have this Portuguese sausage over here. This is the type and brand I'm using. You can use different types of sausage, but this is what I'm going with. And I'm just going to use a box of Stovetop, some Ritz crackers. If you don't have Ritz on hand, you can just use breadcrumbs. I have those back there. And if you want to supplement some of the fresh clams, you can use a can of clams, which I have here. So sometimes people like to have more quantity of clams than what's in the shell. So if you want to add and change the proportion, you can feel free to pick up a can of chopped clams. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the first step for this recipe is to steam the clams. What I did was I put them in a bowl and I rinsed them several times to get all the sand off. So if they're fresh, they're probably going to have a bunch of sand on them. So I just rinsed it with cold water and I did it several times and cleaned it as best I could. So I'm going to put the clams right in this pot of water. I'm just going to add a splash of the white wine. All right, and we're just going to start it up. Okay, we got the burner going. And we're going to cook it for about 10 minutes. The way you know they're done is they're going to open up. So once it comes up to a boil, about 10 minutes or so, just keep an eye on them. And once they're all open, you're good to go. Okay, so the clams just finished. There's the broth left over. So if you want to save that, you can have some clam stock. And just in case there's any excess sand, you should watch my Rhode Island clear chowder video on how to filtrate it out with paper towels. Okay, so these are the clams over here. They opened up. What I do is I just chop up the clam with a pair knife here. So this is what it looks like when it's done. And these are the shells we're going to save and use when we make the stuffies themselves. So just hold on to these. You can rinse them, clean them one more time for good measure. And just take a pair knife, or any knife for that matter, and just chop them up. I don't chop them too fine, but you can chop them finer if you want. And again, if you need extra clam for the right ratio, just pick up a can of clams. All right, let's move on to the next step. The stuffing is finishing up on the stove, and once that's done, we'll mix it all together and we'll get these ready to go into the oven. So you start the Dutch oven with some butter and the sausage cut up. That's the first step you're going to do. And you're going to let it cook for a couple of minutes. And after that, we're going to add some of the veggies. So I'll check back in a few. Okay, now that it's been a few minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the garlic and thyme in. Going to start to smell really good as it releases the flavors there. And what I did was I cut up all the veggies together in this bowl. So I got the celery, onion, and red bell pepper. I'm just going to mix that right in. Just make sure you mix it down low. You really want it to heat up and release all of the juices from the veggies and the sausage there. So I'm going to put the lid on, lower the heat a little bit, and give it a good 10-15 minutes for it to cook. And then we'll continue with prepping the stuffing. Okay, about 10 minutes gone by, and the veggies and sausage cooked down a bit. It smells really good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit more butter right into the Dutch oven there. I'm going to lower the heat a bit. And remember that clam stock I was telling you about earlier. So if you save the juice you cook the clams in, you get this clam broth. Alternatively, if you have like a can of chicken stock, you can use that, or even if you just want to use some water. I'm going to pour some of that in right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to fold the stovetop right in with it. So I'm going to mix it in gradually, the clam stock with the stuffing. I'm going to mix it together, and I'll check back in a few when it's done. Alright, the stuffing came together really nicely. The final step, what you want to do at the very end when you lower the heat way down, is to add the clams in. So I chopped those clams up. And we already cooked the clams right earlier. We steamed them, so we want to mix them in, the chopped clams, but we just want to make sure we don't have the heat too high. Yeah, so at this time the stuffing's ready to go. Gonna let it cool a little bit. Gonna go clean those shells out, and the next step before we put it in the oven is we're gonna stuff the actual clam shells. So I'll be back in a minute, and we'll start that. Okay, the final few steps. What we're doing now is we're actually putting the stuffing right back into the clam shells. It's a two-step process. So we have the stuffing mix with the chopped clams we did in the Dutch oven. We're just gonna use this little ladle here, scoop some out, put it right into the clamshell there. Use your hands if you want, get a little bit dirty. And then the second step, what I do is I have these Ritz crackers over here. I crushed them up in melted butter, and I did some chives and parsley. So that's just a second layer we just do right on the top of the stuffing. So we can use a spoon for that and just mush that in. So that's the outer layer there. Again, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty there. Just make sure it's packed in good. And yeah, so I have 2 already. I think I had about 7 or 8 clams. So yeah, I'm gonna do the rest. I got them here on this cutting board. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them on a baking sheet and put them in the oven at 350 for 15 to 20 minutes. So I'll show you when I'm putting them in the oven in a few. Again, it's gonna be 350 Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. And I'll check back with you guys soon. All right, the oven just preheated. I'm popping these in. It's gonna go 15 minutes at 350, and I'll show you the final product. Okay, this is our final dish, Rhode Island stuffed clams or Stuffies. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe to my channel.